Good afternoon. My name is Karym Murphy, and I'm Managing Director of Horizon8, a global technology solutions company. I'm pleased to be here today with our Board Director, Paul O'Neill. Many of you know Paul as a longtime Nicsa board member. Paul is also a recognized industry leader with extensive experience. Today, we want to talk to you about customer onboarding. Customer onboarding is an entire process which someone goes through at the beginning of their relationship with any company. The onboarding journey can define the customer experience. Paul, most companies spend significant resources onboarding customers and conducting due diligence. Why does it appear to be so labor intensive?
It's primarily a paper-driven process with multiple touch points, and it's riddled with compliance and regulatory risk. Also, the new regulations that have put customer privacy at the forefront make it more manually intensive and more cost prohibitive to try and systematically deal with these solutions. For instance, the right to be forgotten that they have imposed in the European Union, where you have to give up the customer's records after you've used them and you can't hold on to them any longer. Failure to comply with some of these regulations can result in up to 4% of worldwide income fines levied to the organization.
Paul, why do you think the process isn't more automated today?
Well, I actually think it's a critical process that's been in search of a technical solution for years. It just hasn't been found. Years ago, when the things were created like FundServe, networking, ACATS, onboarding was left behind because nobody could ever really put the components together in a cohesive way to make it a good process. And quite frankly, the process, it can only be what the technology allows you to do with it.
So what about other solutions? Have you seen initiatives elsewhere, and do they work?
Well, I'd say I've seen them that cover a full gambit. One of the oldest one that I have some familiarity with is in India. 20 years ago, they introduced a centralized system that was primarily paper-based, but took and centralized everything. In the other fund spaces, offshore domiciles, for instance, Ireland, Luxembourg. Luxembourg sells funds in 70 different countries around the world, 28 in Asia alone. It's very hard to get them all standardized. The approach that has taken place in Europe that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years is a focus on consortiums. I think at one time in Luxembourg, there was 6 of them that were being developed. I don't know that 2 or 3 of them may have some level of success. In the Nordics, though, for instance, 6 of the major banks got together, and that's probably the most successful one that I've come in contact with. But other countries like France and Spain, they've started them at least at this point. But I would say they're hard to build, and there's still exposure with between competitors that put people off. And quite frankly, I think the technology is passé at this point.
So if these solutions are passé, what do you see working in the future?
I think for years, the technology's been trying to catch up with the process. I actually think that it's caught up to the process now, and we're at a tipping point. At Horizon8, we've reviewed over 300 apps that are used worldwide for AML and for KYC. And what we see is there's a dramatic shift to digitization. And it's hard to imagine that anyone today doesn't have access to a mobile cell phone or a desktop, and that the process can be dramatically shortened and secured as compared to using paper.
So you hear people talk about digital identities and digital vaults. Do you see those playing a role in the solution?
Well, actually, the process, the way the process works is that the individual creates a digital identity. So for instance, you can use your mobile phone and you scan in your passport, scan in your driver's license, any other thing that you want to scan in with a picture on it. Then you take a selfie, and then the selfie works with the picture and authenticates does a forensic analysis and authenticates yourself in the document. And that's your new access into the process. The process actually works similar to like a LinkedIn experience. It also creates a digital vault, and that the digital vault can be accessed by the individual or an onboarding company. And the individual gives the onboarding company permission to go in and see the documents. The onboarding company has access to it. Their compliance requirements are met in one fell swoop. I mean, literally, the process can take minutes.
Wow, that sounds really transformative. It sounds like it really puts the customer in control of their data.
Well, the customer and the onboarding company, because the onboarding company has the opportunity to take only what they need, review it, and cut access to it after they're through with the document. So the customer can say how long they want the access to be allowed. The onboarding company can say how long they need it for, and the whole process is compliant. And our experience with the regulators is they're very supportive of it.
Paul, thanks for your valuable insights today. It sounds like onboarding will always be a critical part of how companies engage with their customers and other key constituents. It also sounds like providing digital solutions will have to become more widely adopted to simplify the process and create greater flexibility and transparency for both the customer and service providers.
Well, I think it's time to change and overall simplify the product and the process.